This was what we call resourceful. It looks so good. I am so excited for you all to see it. And I've been talking about it a lot, but we are finally getting to it. We're gonna work on this mirror today. Gideon has off from school today, and it's a little bit crazy, but we're gonna work on this mirror, Anthropologie dupe, and a Pottery Barn dupe from the Goodwill bins that I got last week. If you remember, I thrifted this mirror from Facebook Marketplace for $15. Very like 70s to me with this really chunky frame. So we're gonna try to take that off. You wanna help? So this video today is going to be filmed in kind of a vlog style, very casual, because I was just trying to get these done, and this was a long weekend that Gideon was off and my husband was on call all weekend, so it was a bit crazy. Great news, I don't think it was glued. Look at that, Gideon, look. Even just this cardboard might be kind of cool with something, painted or something. Look at that! So today I'm gonna work on this vase. I hauled this one last week from the Goodwill bins, and I really like the size of it, but the color, it doesn't really match my house. So I am going to try to paint it, and I'm gonna use a primer first. It's actually a spray paint. I heard that it's really important to prime it before you do it, so we'll see if it works, and I will definitely let you guys know as I go if this was a success or a fail or any tips that I have. Now, before anyone gets upset with me for painting a perfectly good vase, keep in mind that I did find this at the bin, so it was about to end up in the dump, and the sides actually did have a seam on them, so I don't think it was the greatest quality. But let me go ahead and show you my inspiration pictures. So the first one here is from Pottery Barn, and as you can tell, these vases are expensive. So while that vase dried outside, I opened up this Amazon package, which was these decorative trim pieces, which I'll be using on the mirror. And I did order 2 different types of both the top and the side pieces that I'll be using, just so that I could compare in person. And I ended up liking this bottom one here because of the curve that it had. And then I just liked the ones that had a little bit more chunkiness to the side pieces, because the Anthropologie mirror is a little bit more chunky on the side. Mine is not going to be near the quality of the Anthropologie mirror, but it's gonna be pretty darn beautiful, I think. Benji approved of the trim pieces. Okay, I just wanted to see how it would look in the space with these on there, and I absolutely love it. Don't mind the giant Halloween costume here. So I took these outside and spray painted them with that same matte black spray paint. I will show you later how important this step is, but this will really help the gold pop. So I wanted to make a brown kind of terracotta color, so I just mixed colors that I already had. And it turned out like this, and then I added some baking soda in there, and I'm gonna put that on as my base layer, and then I think I'm going to add this darker brown that I got to kind of see if that will look good, and then maybe add a little more of black, and we'll do a lot of layers. Okay, but how spooky does this look? This looks like it could be part of like a Halloween decoration. So of course, doing DIYs with children requires a lot more time and patience, but I'm just so grateful that Gideon is at an age when he really wants to help me with these.
Ooh, yucky.
I think I've only mentioned it once on the channel here before, but my husband is in his first year of medical residency, so his days are very long at the hospital. And so having projects like this that just have me working on something with an end in sight throughout the day, throughout the monotony, has just been such a blessing for me. I forgot to film most of me painting this, but I went ahead and painted it a few coats. That's how it's coming along so far. This is what's weird though. Look at that, it's turning white. So I think that it's turning white because this was a black, like a really dark black and brown, and then I added the baking soda to it. My second time trying this pot technique, and so far I have not made it smell super weird. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments below. You like it?
Maybe not. There's stuff growing on it for sure.
So it is the next day, and I'm using a damp sponge to sand it down. This worked really well, and I went ahead and left the texture in different spots around it. Then some I sanded down really well, because I think this will ultimately make it look more authentic. So I know y'all came for this DIYs, but I can't help but just share a little bit of what's on my heart recently. And that is this quote that just says, remember the days in which you prayed for what you have now. And this has been on my heart lately because I've been feeling very antsy and just wanting everything in my home to be done and to be perfect. And
that's not going to happen. And especially with the budget that we're on right now, a lot of things I have to put, a lot of effort into to getting, and that is fine. That's, I think, really beautiful, and I'm proud of the things that I've made in my home. Sure, I would love to have the high quality items, but these DIYs and the ones that I've shared previously on my channel are ones that I enjoy the process of, and also I'm just really excited to have a beautiful home that I have made. And one day maybe I will have the real thing, but for now these are just fine, and previous me would be very proud of myself. So anyway, I don't know who needed to hear that, but I hope that that encourages you today.
While that vase is drying, I want to work on the mirror pieces a little bit. So I have Rub and Buff, which I was planning on using for all of it, but then I realized, why don't I just use spray paint a little bit under there, and then I'll put Rub and Buff on top of this to see if that will add a little bit more variation.
I realized I never told y'all what I would be doing with the edge of the mirror, because I'm not just leaving that like bare and naked. Also, it's pretty sharp, so it definitely needs to be protected. So I found on Amazon like a little tiny sleeve that goes all the way around, and it's made of rubber, so it's super flexible, which means I'll be able to go in a continuous line all the way around the arch of my frame, which I really wanted. I want it to have that clean look and not have two different types of trim there.
This is looking so creepy. Gideon said it looked creepy. So first he said it looked like poop, and now it's just creepy. So I don't know, maybe it'll just be a Halloween decoration. No, I'm not giving up. I'm gonna try to lighten it up a little bit, because right now it's like black. Like it just looks like black, like spray painted creepiness.
I do want to share with you guys how much these projects cost in total, but you'll have to stick around until the end for that.
Saved it. I'm not sure if it turns out well on camera, but it's looking pretty good in my opinion. This might not be everyone's taste, and I think we'll have to see once it's in the space how it really comes together. But I added horizontal lines, as that's what I noticed on Pinterest on the like pictures that I was inspired by. Added those with brown mixed with white, and then straight up white to really like highlight those spots.
I'm definitely not done with this vase, but we're jumping back to the mirror.
Friends, so now is the time to assemble this mirror. I have them all spray painted, but I'm definitely gonna go in and like touch these up with more. And I should have spray painted the back. I don't know what I was thinking, because you'll be able to see that in there. So I'll go in with the golds, and that'll actually give you guys a good comparison to see what it would look like if I didn't spray paint them black, but just went in with the golds. Our challenge now is going to be to get this all the way around the outside.
Now, my original plan here was to use hot glue to attach this onto here, and this would have worked fine. However, it was really bothering me how much thickness the hot glue was giving, and it was actually causing like little bumps underneath this strip of rubber. I did want to show how I wrapped this around the corners. You want to make sure that this is nice and protected and everything. This will be hidden underneath that piece of decorative trim, but all I did was cut a 90-degree angle out and then just wrapped it around. You'll also notice that a lot of the gold spray paint was starting to flake off, but I actually really like it. It looks kind of crackly and very authentically vintage, I think. So although I did end up using a different method to attach this, I did want to show what the hot glue looked like, and this is DIY for ya. So this is those bumps that I was talking about, and because there's just so much glue under there, the reflection is really easy to see. So I went ahead and took that off. Super simple. Hot glue just peels right off.
Just like everyone knows, the very big day, because I'm using a brand new hot glue gun, and my previous one I had for 10 years. Would you believe that? See if this one stands up to its predecessor.
So while my new hot glue gun didn't get to be used for attaching this strip, I did end up using it on the corner here where it was really sharp, just to add a little bit of protection and make sure that it wouldn't end up like poking through the rubber or anything.
I'm embarrassed to show you guys how I jerry-rigged this together, but you know, this was what we call resourceful, okay? So I did end up using plastic knives and my toddler's wooden toys to figure out the clamping system for this, because I really wanted it to be super duper flat and I used the E6000 so that it wouldn't have any bubbles in there and everything.
While the E6000 hardens on there, I want to show you how these are coming. So I did use the spray paint to start off with, and then this one you'll notice just has the spray paint, but this other one on the left here, I've went in and added a little bit of black, just dry brushing it into the crevices, as you'll see that I'm doing here on the right one. And I think that this just adds a little bit more vintage look to it and makes it look more like metal. And then you'll notice that the frame from Anthropologie actually has these little dots on it. So I went in with my hot glue gun and added just little tiny dots. There was definitely a learning curve with these. As you can see, these are a little sad looking. And then the other ones that I progressed to, it definitely looks a lot better. And here I am just figuring out exactly where the center of this mirror is so that I can attach this top piece. It would be better, obviously, to use like a T-square, but I could not find mine. So this worked just fine. And then I used E6000 and more clothespins to attach this on here to make sure that it can dry really nice and strong. When attaching the two bottom decorative pieces, you want to make sure that you use a straight edge along the bottom of the frame so that the decorative pieces don't extend past the frame and will actually end up being, you know, weight bearing once you set it down. Yes, that was a good catch. I also went back and added more of the rub and buff on top of each of those little dots that I painted black, but I guess I forgot to take video of that.
It is far too late for me to admit, but Dominic just helps me bring it up because I had to see it in the space and it looks so good. I'm so excited for y'all to see it, but you don't get to see it yet. I gotta finish that vase and then we'll do a big reveal. I kind of thought this vase was done, but I decided I wanted to add a little bit more depth, and so I grabbed some wall paint that we had left over in the garage. This is just a creamy white. It's a color match, so I can't give you the color exactly, but I went in and did more horizontal lines in a dry brush fashion, and then I went back with a microfiber cloth and just wiped off the excess of that. And then I went in with that melted chocolate color, which you'll see in a bit, over this white areas to add a little bit more depth. And I really focused on the areas that had increased texture from the baking soda to really bring those more forward, I guess, and give them more attention. This is definitely a project where you have to leave your perfectionist attitude at the door, because you really have to just go in layers and see if it looks good and wipe it off if it doesn't, but just be okay with that. And you'll notice I also added some green in here, and I forgot to mention that. But besides that mystery wall paint, I can link below any of the colors that I used. So before I show you guys how they turned out and also give you a little announcement about next week, I wanted to show you how much these turned out costing. So the mirror I was able to thrift for $15. The trim, that rubber piece, was $18. The side decal pieces were $7, and then that top piece was $16. And all of this came out to $56, which is pretty darn good, I would say. And then as you can see, the vase was only $5. So I'm still tinkering with the decorations on top of this dresser, so I will continue to work on that until I finally get to my bedroom makeover, which will be coming soon. But I'm trying to use the concept of zigzagging, which is where you put one item behind and then one item in front. I've seen this on multiple different sources, so sorry, I don't know who to credit with this. I'm also trying to incorporate lots of elements from our travels and nature to bring in that relaxing feeling into our bedroom. Not gonna lie, I've been doing a lot of DIYs lately and there is a lot of mess. I have a garage sale coming up next weekend that I've been just trying to clear out a ton of stuff for. Make sure you smash that bell because next week I have an additional video coming out. It is a collaboration. You're not gonna wanna miss it because I hope to share with y'all how I have organized my space to make it look so much more put together and functional and just all around much better. So I will be grateful for doing this kind of stuff now before we head into the holiday season. So thank you all so much for being here. If y'all enjoyed this video, check out this one that I'll link somewhere on the screen. I showed y'all how to make really high-end art, and I hope y'all have a blessed week. Bye, friends.